So, good evening. My name is Frank Buena and we are from Blocksigned, the secure digital handshake. What is the problem? The problem for companies to sign contracts is really a pain in the ass. Because it's a really old process actually. Papers have to be printed out, they have to be sent. Sometimes they are then scanned again and then sent again. It's very high friction, complicated and costs a lot of time. So what can we do about this? The solution is the Blocksigned platform. What it does firstly is it ensures that the business partner A is who is, that he's verified and that partner B is verified as well. Then it's a very streamlined process. It's fully digital, it's secure and it's easy to use, so no paper to print out. How do we do this magic? We use the blockchain. And in the blockchain, it's an open ledger where information is stored. It's very secure. But what we don't do, of course, we don't store the whole contract into the ledger because everyone could read it. What we do, we use a mathematical function, a hash function, and then we hash this 1,000 pages contract, and it just becomes a one tiny little number. And this tiny little number is then stored in the blockchain. So it cannot be altered. A partner cannot alter a contract without that the hash would change. So it's absolutely ensured and absolutely secure that no agreement can be changed afterwards. So we presented for validation this concept to PricewaterhouseCoopers and to the Deutsche Bahn, thanks to Joachim Birkle, can't see him here right now. And they both said that it's a very interesting idea and that it could reduce a lot of friction and that it could make the process much more efficient than what they do today. So for the financial model, from the cost side, it's we have a very low maintenance fee because all we do is a web server that we have to set up, and the transaction fees is very low too because we just use an existing infrastructure, the blockchain from the Bitcoin network. So we have to pay very little fees there. Our focus for the customers would be, of course, business to business in the beginning, and we would have a flat fee fee model. That means, like per transaction, we would charge a certain amount, and in the combination with that, we have transaction costs of almost zero. That would mean that we have a very high margin. So, what would be the next steps? We hopefully get the 100K for building up the first prototype of our application. With that, find the lead customer and then of course go to the product launch. And I hope we can make your secure digital handshakes in the future. Thank you for your attention.
Obviously you need an initial verification of the business partners who use this. How would you do that?
Yeah, that's of course right, and this is not done with the blockchain. This would use a single sign-on server or another public key, private key procedure to ensure that a person is who is pretending to be, of course.
So who would be your main customer segment? Because banks are already working on this inside the banks, right? So there's a couple of things, and also big companies with big contracts, with a lot of clients use that within the company, their own company. So who's your main customer?
So I would give this to Alex, our contract specialist.
Okay, so maybe just a quick intro. My background is contract management. I work for IBM as a consultant, so I implement contract management software quite often. Yes, we have that. Companies do that internally, obviously. But as soon as contracts has to leave the company, maybe between UBS and a smaller company, obviously that breaks apart, right? So they need a platform and they want to sign digitally as well, right? That is the main issue. And that's the reason why you send it via paper, although you have very sophisticated contract management already.
What would you do? What is your competitor within the market in the current situation? And what would you say about e-signing, document e-signing that already exists? What would you do? What would you do better? And the second question is, sorry, where would the documents be saved?
I start with the last question. The documents will be saved at the customer's computer. So we have absolutely no knowledge of the content of this contract. And we think this is a huge plus versus our competitors like DocuSign, which have a central store of the documents. That means they create such a strong knowledge about everything of their customers. So with us, just the hash of this contract is leaving the computer, and we take care of the hash. Other competitors, like proof of existence, they only store the hash in the blockchain. So they only prove the existence, but they're not like identity checking and making this into a streamlined process from start to finish digitally.
I would quickly like to add on that. So proof of concept is not really a competition, but they store a hash of a document. So that has nothing to do with contracts, basically. And the DocuSign point is very important because you have to rebuild your contract management again on their side, basically, right? So all the rules you have put in place within your company, that above a certain contract volume level, whatever, 1 million contract level has to be signed by the CEO or something, you have to sort of make sure that exists on DocuSign as well. So you have to basically rebuild everything.
What's the main customer problem you solve with that solution?
I would say the breakage of the media, basically, right? So internally you have everything digital, you have everything in systems, so you do your comparison, and then you start printing it out, sending it via mail, signing it, scanning it, sending it back. Why would you do that if it's already digital? You would love to send it via mail, basically. Right?
Have you thought about the habit of printing out? Have you thought about changing this habit?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. We have thought about it, but the most companies we talk to, at least on this weekend, for them it's just a pain, because when you send out a contract and it gets sent back, that means you need to read it. Otherwise, if you don't read it, maybe it has been changed. And maybe it's just easier to read it once, send it out, get it back, and be sure it's the same.
Final question of the evening.
Could you just sum up the process for me a second time, because I didn't get it in the presentation. What is the process, the signing process, and what role do you play exactly, and what do you offer to these customers? Just for showing me.
So we basically assure that the signing of the contract is made public, is public for who knows the hash, right? So you don't make the contract public, but you cannot deny that the contract has been signed, and that's the information we store and we present it to each of the clients, right? So just the signing of the contract. The transaction has been documented, undeniably.
Thanks, Team Blocksigned.